course, saying we're going to do, crime, social services, economic development, we're going to go in depth on these sorts of topics that we think are falling through the cracks elsewhere.
I think getting all the stories that really make people kind of sit and think and wonder about DC and really question what they know is, I think, the big thing.
If we meet regularly or, on the web or however we do it and say, okay, we all looked at the stories that came out in the last month. How do you think we do? How was the quality? Where did we fall down? And just do it as more of a discussion.
There's a lot of things going on in the city. There's a lot of complicated topics. There's a lot of stories, and that to really even feel like you've read 5% of it, you have to read the Washington Post, you have to go to a bunch of different, maybe the different TV stations' websites, WTOP, the blogs, and even after reading all of those, you feel like, oh, well, I still don't really know what's going on.
On one hand, you use the term dashboard. I think that's, I guess maybe sort of like a Huffington Post aggregator style, where it's like covering all the things that are happening all across the city. And then on the other hand, there's more of a more resource-intensive, devoted, in-depth, more thoughtful, and deliberate in journalism.
Some of that, of course, is aggregating, but I don't want it to be simply just, link aggregation and, I read the other news sites today, so you don't have to. We sort of want to be more storytelling in a way that engage people in these stories.
Like the AIDS story was in the Post, 2 months ago? And people aren't really following up with it, and they're not really, everyone knows that AIDS is a big issue in DC, but I think it's just kind of like, oh, well, that's bad.
So it's kind of easy for the stories to kind of drop off the radar because there's kind of no call to action. Journalists are always kind of shying away from that kind of thing because it's not, quote unquote, objective.
In journalism, the mode of objective reporting is this is happening or this happened.
Right.
Whereas what I'm interested in is what could happen that would be better, more fair, and that sort of thing. If I'm going to participate in the stuff that I'm working on, if we're going to put time into telling a story, it's for the purpose of illuminating something that could be different.
It's amazing how desperate people are for someone to pay attention to their issues, sadly. So it's really not going to take very much to get community organizations to really be on board and help you and send you information.
We exist to find the stories that aren't being told. We tell them and we provide them to everyone for free, and we try and incorporate as many people as possible to tell their stories, and we want to help people tell those stories, and we want to give them the tools to tell those stories. And that's why we exist. That's what I see. There's stories to be told, there's research to be done, there's things to be kept track of, and to do it for the benefit of everyone.